Well, good morning, everybody. Peter, thank you very much for those kind remarks. Excellencies, this is marvellous. Array of ministerial talent before us. I'm sorry we're a little late because we gave the ministers this new UKTI Delivering Global Mining Solutions booklet last night, and I was testing them on it this morning before we came out. They're not going to do mastermind on it just yet. We need a little bit more practice, don't we, chaps? But it really is good to see you here in London. And I was struck by a conversation I was having with Minister Balala from Kenya just a few moments ago, where he said to me, we're over here because we need your help. I thought, cool, blimey, mate, we need your help to fuel our economy, and it is in that spirit that we meet together today, because there is no doubt about it that the Prime Minister has put at the heart of British recovery trade, and God knows why he appointed me to be the trade envoy, but I don't want you to get carried away thinking I'm at the heart of British recovery, because actually it's you in this room who are at the heart of British recovery, and it is the help that we're going to receive from our friends through the Commonwealth, but in particular at this table here. And so I'm very grateful, and I'm going to say thank you in advance for all the contracts you're going to award British businesses by the time you've left this evening. That's indeed, if you're able to leave this evening, because you won't be able to unless you've awarded those contracts to British businesses. But on a serious note, I do want to pay tribute to the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is such a marvellous organisation. It is an excellent cooperation. It has established a forum for us all to prosper as nations. And Peter, thank you for everything that you've done from the business point of view for the Commonwealth. And you mentioned Mozambique, where I was last year, supposedly topping up my suntan, but for 17 hours I was in Mozambique. And they, of course, are new to the Commonwealth. I was in Gabon last week for 17 hours as well. It's a sort of common theme in my trip itinerary, where President Ali Bongo is very determined to try and join the Commonwealth, as indeed are Algeria, as indeed are quite a lot of the North African countries. And so that is the cachet that the Commonwealth has and the importance it has at the heart of international politics. And of course, this conference is so important because roughly about 40% of the world's natural mineral resources reside in Africa. And with that, we are seeing transformations of national prosperity. We are going to see transformations of national prosperity, and particularly with the countries we have here. But if we look at the political change that's happened in Kenya recently, the great enthusiasm and energy that's being brought to changing the system there, there will be opportunities through that political change. But that change will only happen if we do the things that Britain is so strong at achieving. And that is transferring skills. So it's not just going into the country and extracting, it's going into the country and training and educating and transferring the skills, the tremendous skills we have in the United Kingdom. It will be investment in the infrastructure, a quality investment in the infrastructure, not just banging in roads and rail, but having quality, sustainable investment in the infrastructure, something that Britain has done since time immemorial, with mixed popularity in certain countries, but let's put that behind us now and think of the future. And in return, what we need to achieve in the countries that we are about to trade with, we need a framework. And I was delighted to hear that those are key points that are fundamental to these countries that we have. We need a framework of which to invest. We need a long-term plan with which to invest, because these are long-term investments. We need very clear and sustainable licenses that are backed up by the rule of law. And the rule of law is therefore fundamental for British businesses to trade in a country. And of course, transparency, which is now fundamental for British businesses. We have to have transparent contracts. The demands from the electorate of a nation for transparent and open governments are now becoming overwhelming. We've seen in various countries that they have overthrown governments because there has not been transparency. So that transparent contract that's applied is going to be so important. Taxation, a very clear pathway as to the tax and the tax regime and the fiscal regime within the country is important, as indeed is the regulatory framework. And if we can help in any of those ways, of course we know that you have them, but we're sorry to keep on with Kenya. They've had the same British regulatory framework, I think you said since 1947, probably needs updating a little bit. If we can help you with that, we are only too pleased to do it, because we do have the expertise in this country and we can understand the mess we created probably better than other people coming in new to look at that mess. So please give us an opportunity, first of all. And why Britain? Why should you consider Britain as your allies and friends in these great developments? Well, firstly, I think we've shown through DFID that have been supportive and have established schemes with which they can help in these particular areas. Secondly, we are your longest and not necessarily closest. We have at times been very close. We've had, so we say, a checkered career, but we are your longest friends. And I always think with friendship, it isn't always smooth. It's like marriage. Well, for me anyway. I'm sure the rest of you are blissfully, happily married. But for me, it has its ups and downs. Not too many downs, but quite a lot of it has its ups and downs. But it has been a sustainable marriage now for 30 years for me, but for our countries, even longer. And I think that is something that we should cherish. But like all marriages, we need to work at it. We need to work together at it for it to continue. And I see Linda Chalker, Baroness Chalker, nodding her head sagely there. And no one has worked harder at her not her marriage, at the relationships with Africa than she has. And Linda, I want to thank you for everything you've done in the great continent. You have been a beacon for us all. So Britain can offer a lot of the regulatory framework. We can offer advice on the tax regimes. We can offer advice on the fiscal structure, as you know, and we will only too happily do that as a government-to-government basis. But of course, we have tremendous skills in this country. It is not by accident that we have the National Geographical Society here, or the Geological Society, or the Natural History Museum. These have happened over years of development, which has brought in an enormous talent pool through our education system, where we have 4 of the top 10 universities in the world, which I proudly say, and this very significant education system. And within that, we have developed a talent pool which we hope that you will come and access and use to the best of your ability to develop British involvement in your country. And of course, our own financial markets. Currently listed on our stock exchange, we have 425 billion of mining companies, value of mining companies, listed on our own stock exchange. It is the largest in the world. It is the easiest country. It is the easiest stock exchange with which to set up a company of any country in the world, and therefore we are attracting new investment, particularly in the mining field, into London. And also, we have established an attractive tax regime ourselves to encourage people to establish in London. We now will have the lowest tax in G20. We are nearly 20%. We will be 20% corporation tax, compared to America at 32, France at 34, I think the figure is. This is a significant reduction, and that's why businesses are setting themselves in London. And so, it is the ability to set up, the ability to access markets, the ability to establish yourself in a country where we have a long and clear fiscal pathway that are important for London, but will be equally important for you as nations to attract businesses into your country. And I think with that, we set ourselves a great opportunity through this conference of cooperating together. It is a supreme effort to our marriage that you have made coming over to London, and we welcome you and your colleagues. And let us all now, united, take advantage of this great opportunity.